The candles turn everyone's skin the color of honey, soft and unreal. My fingers are damp around my phone, the glass slick like it wants to slip away. One buzz, then another. On the screen, payment declined. Again. Music floats over the rows, strings pretending nothing is wrong, while Caleb leans into the wedding planner's ear, jaw tight, lips moving fast like he can bite the problem into silence. Sloane's smile is stretched thin, shiny, ready to crack. Then her eyes find me. Caleb looks up, pleading, wordless. My thumb hovers over card services. He wanted a new life. On my account, my throat is tight in that way it gets when I'm trying not to cry and not to laugh at the same time. My pulse keeps thumping in my fingertips. I can feel it through the phone like a second heartbeat. I'm not some movie villain in a black dress. I'm a mom who packs snacks with one hand and wipes fingerprints off the fridge with the other. I buy the store-brand cereal and fold tiny shirts that never stop coming. Practical, quiet. The kind of woman people overlook because I don't take up space on purpose. But I learned something about quiet. Quiet is how you survive, and quiet is how you aim. Everyone here used to call Caleb the golden husband. The big smile, the handshake, the confident laugh that made people lean in like he was sunlight. They thought he was the one keeping me safe, providing, leading. As if I was the shadow behind his shine. I let them think it. For a long time, I let the lie sit on my tongue until it tasted normal. The truth is, Caleb never carried us. He wore us, like a suit, like a story he could sell. And when he started spending my money on his betrayal, dinners, gifts, little shiny moments he didn't earn, I didn't scream. I didn't throw plates. I didn't make scenes. I collected the receipts the way I collected my child's dropped toys, silently, automatically. With my jaw locked so tight my teeth ached. The humiliation was a slow poison. Every time someone praised him, it burned. Every time he smirked like I owed him peace, it burned worse. Then one night, something in me stopped bending. Not snapping, not exploding, just stopping. And now I'm here in the back row, while his perfect day stutters and stalls, and all I can think is how small he looks when the truth finally asks him to pay. If you've ever been made to feel small by someone living large, off your labor, stay with me. The air in this garden tastes like sugar and crushed leaves and other people's celebrations. It sits heavy on my tongue, cloying. I swallow and it doesn't go down. My stomach keeps trying to climb up my throat like it wants out. Caleb is still up there, still handsome in that polished way. Hair neat, suit fitted, cuffs peeking out like he's always ready for a photo. He's always been ready for a photo. Even when our real life was a mess behind the camera. I blink, and the wedding lights smear into the past. It wasn't always this sharp. The betrayal, I mean. At first it was just life. Ordinary. Loud cartoons in the background. Socks that never made it to the hamper. My hands smelling like dish soap and baby shampoo. The kind of days you don't think to miss until they're gone. When I met Caleb, I thought his confidence was safety. He walked into rooms like he belonged there, like the world had been waiting. He laughed easily. He remembered names. He touched my lower back in crowds like I was precious. People orbited him without realizing it, like he had gravity. And God, I liked disappearing into that. I liked being chosen by someone so sure of himself. It made my own anxious thoughts quiet down for a while. I worked then, too. I always worked. Steady job, steady checks, benefits. The boring kind of stability that doesn't photograph well. Caleb used to call me his secret weapon. He'd say it like a compliment, like I was the thing that made him unstoppable. But somewhere along the way, secret weapon turned into quiet backbone. And then into something even quieter. After we had our baby, my days became a series of alarms and lists and tiny emergencies that didn't count as emergencies to anyone else. Daycare drop-off with a bag that always felt too heavy. The sound of the car seat buckle clicking like a metronome. My child's warm breath on my neck when she fell asleep on me for 5 minutes, and my whole body would loosen like a knot finally undone. Caleb would kiss her forehead, grin at me, and say he'd handle dinner. And then his phone would buzz and he'd drift away, already half gone, already smiling at someone I couldn't see. Still, I told myself this was normal. Couples adjust. Babies change everything. Work gets busy. It was always work with him. He was between huge opportunities. That was his phrase. Huge opportunities. Like they were lined up outside our door, waiting their turn. And he was just too important to pick one quickly. He dressed like success even when success was theoretical. Crisp shirts, shoes that cost more than my groceries. A watch he insisted was an investment, as if time itself would pay us back. He loved networking dinners, loved them. His eyes would light up the way mine did when I finally got a full night of sleep. He'd talk about connections and big conversations. He'd come home smelling like cologne and restaurant air, cheeks flushed with whatever kind of attention he'd been drinking. And I would be at the kitchen table with my laptop open, bills stacked like little accusations. I'd click through accounts while the dishwasher hummed. I'd check daycare payments, rent, utilities, insurance, autopay, points, limits, due dates, all the invisible stitching holding our life together. The joint account was my idea. Not romantic, just practical. One place for household expenses, easy to track, easy to plan. Caleb loved the idea because it sounded like unity. He loved anything that sounded like unity when it benefited him. His cards were linked to my credit. Authorized user. My name at the top. His name underneath like a shadow. He liked to pretend it was our credit, our money, our lifestyle. It was easier that way. Easier for him to spend without feeling the sting of earning. I didn't mind at first. I wanted us to feel like a team. And I can admit this now because the shame has burned off like old skin. I liked being needed. I liked knowing I could hold us up if he stumbled. I just didn't know he'd start leaning on me on purpose. Sloane came later. Or maybe she was always there and I only learned her name when it was too late. She was a coworker friend, which is what Caleb called her the first time he mentioned her. Just a name tossed out casually, like he was tossing out a receipt he didn't think I'd read. Sloane. Bright voice, loud laugh. The kind of laugh that makes sure the room knows you're having fun. I heard it once through the phone when Caleb stepped out on the porch to take a quick call. I was inside, rocking our baby, and the laugh filtered through the glass like a dare. When he came back in, his cheeks were pink. His smile lingered too long. She's hilarious, he said like I needed to approve. I nodded. My arms ached from holding our child, my shirt damp at the collar. I remember thinking vaguely that I couldn't compete with hilarious right then. I barely felt like a person. Sloane started texting him during dinner. Little vibrations on the table, his phone face down like a secret pressed under his palm. Work, he'd say. Always work. Sometimes he'd glance at the screen and the corners of his mouth would twitch upward like the message was touching him somewhere pleasant. I'd ask, softly, "Can it wait?" And he'd sigh, like my question was the inconvenience, like my need for attention was childish. "I'm trying to build something for us," he'd say. For us. That phrase again. A velvet ribbon tied around something sharp. I tried to ignore the prickling in my skin when he started taking calls in the hallway. When he started stepping outside to talk. When he started turning his phone away from me like I was a thief. I told myself I was tired. That motherhood makes you suspicious. That sleep deprivation can make you hear ghosts. But the red flags didn't feel like ghosts. They felt like fingerprints. Perfume in the car that wasn't mine. Sweet and expensive, lingering in the fabric like someone had been sitting too close for too long. I'd slide into the passenger seat once, and the scent hit the back of my throat so hard my eyes watered. I sat there, frozen, hands on my lap, staring at the dashboard as if it could explain. Caleb came out with his keys, talking about a client meeting, and I smiled because my face had learned how to lie before my brain could stop it. "New air freshener?" I asked, voice too light. He didn't even blink. "Yeah, you like it?" And then he kissed my cheek, quick, distracted, and the lie sat between us like a third person. Work trips started, vague ones, the kind where he'd tell me the city but not the hotel. The kind where the schedule changed last minute so he couldn't FaceTime our child. Good night. The kind where he'd come home with a tired story that sounded rehearsed, like he'd practiced it in the mirror of a hotel bathroom. When I questioned anything, just a little, just enough to keep my sanity. He'd tilt his head and give me that look, the one that made me feel like I was asking for too much oxygen. "Why are you acting like this?" he'd say. "Do you not trust me?" And in my chest, something would twist. Because the truth was, I wanted to trust him so badly it hurt. Trust was easier than what my body already knew. "You're being paranoid," he'd add softer, as if he was comforting me. As if my instincts were a sickness he was gently diagnosing. Paranoid. That word stuck to me. It got under my nails. I started policing my own thoughts. I started apologizing for feelings I hadn't even spoken yet. I became smaller. Meanwhile, Caleb became louder, more confident, more polished. Like someone was feeding him praise with a spoon. He'd come home and talk about Sloane's brilliant ideas, Sloane's taste, Sloane's connections. He said her name like it was normal to say another woman's name that often in our kitchen, with our child's sticky handprints on the cabinet doors. Once our toddler reached for his phone on the couch, just curious, just baby curiosity. And Caleb snatched it away so fast the movement startled her. She blinked, lip wobbling. A little whine started. My blood went cold. He immediately smiled, too wide. "Hey, hey," he cooed, scooping her up. "Daddy's phone isn't a toy." But his eyes flicked to me. Quick. Warning. That night, after I put our child to bed, I stood in the bathroom and stared at myself. My face looked the same, but something behind my eyes felt different. Like I was living with a stranger who wore my husband's skin. I tried to talk to him again. I chose a calm moment. I always chose calm moments, like my emotions needed permission to exist. "Are you happy?" I asked. He laughed, actually laughed, as if the question was ridiculous. "Of course I am," he said, and then he tapped my forehead with 2 fingers like I was a cute little pet. "You worry too much." My skin crawled where he touched me. The next morning, I woke up early. Before the baby, before the sun, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. The house was quiet. That deep quiet where you can hear the refrigerator breathing, the pipes settling, the distant hum of a streetlight outside. I logged into our shared cloud storage because daycare had texted asking for a photo for Family Week. Just something sweet, something to print and hang on the wall. My cursor moved slowly. My eyes burned. There were the usual folders, taxes, bills, baby photos, random receipts, Caleb's projects. And then a new folder, sitting there like it had always belonged. Honeymoon inspo. 2 words, clean, casual, like a joke. My hand hovered over the trackpad. My pulse thudded in my ears so loud it drowned out the quiet of the house. I clicked. The screen filled with saved images, beach resorts, candlelit dinners, matching white outfits on balconies, captions about fresh starts and forever. A spreadsheet, a guest list draft, a venue brochure. My vision tunneled. The edges went dark, my mouth went dry and then wet, saliva pooling like my body didn't know whether to vomit or bite. I pressed my palm flat to the table as if I could steady myself through wood. Honeymoon. Inspiration. I didn't breathe for a second, maybe 2. Then the house made a small sound, a creak, a settling, and I flinched so hard my chair scraped the floor. My own home, my own kitchen. And there it was, on my screen, the future he was building without me. On my account. On my back. On my silence. I stared at the folder name until the letters blurred, until my eyes filled and my throat tightened, and a single thought rose up. Hot, metallic, undeniable. So that's what you've been doing in the hallway. I don't slam the laptop shut. I should. That would be dramatic. That would match the way my insides are suddenly on fire. Instead, I close the folder like I'm closing a drawer. Like it's normal. Like I'm not staring at the blueprint of my own humiliation. My hands shake anyway. I hear the baby monitor hiss. A tiny sigh. A soft shift in the crib. Life keeps going. Even when something inside me just broke. Caleb comes down later, barefoot, shirt wrinkled, all casual confidence. He opens the fridge and stares inside like answers live behind the milk. "Morning," he says. My mouth tastes like pennies. I swallow and it scrapes. "Morning," I echo, and my voice surprises me. It's steady. It's too steady. Like my body has decided if it falls apart, it'll do it privately. I wait until he turns, until he's holding his coffee like a prop, until he's halfway out the door with his keys. Then I say it. Caleb, what's honeymoon inspo? The words sit in the air between us, heavy, wet. He doesn't freeze. That's what scares me most. He doesn't look startled like a guilty man caught. He looks annoyed. Like I asked him to take out the trash. He breathes out through his nose. A small laugh. Oh my God. He rubs his face like I'm exhausting. You were in my files? Our files, I correct softly. My nails dig into my palm so hard it hurts. I welcome the hurt. It's something real. He tilts his head. His eyes go a little cold. You're stressed, he says, like he's diagnosing me. You've been stressed for months. You're imagining things because you're not sleeping. My jaw clenches so tight my molars throb. I saw venue brochures, I say. My voice cracks on brochures. I hate that it cracks. I hate giving him that. His expression shifts instantly, softens, like a switch flips. Warm Caleb, safe Caleb. He steps closer. He reaches for my shoulders like he's about to soothe a skittish animal. Hey, he murmurs. Babe, look at me. My body wants to lean away. It doesn't. I let him touch me because I'm still learning how to stop letting him. That was for you, he says. For us. I was planning a surprise trip. I wanted to do something special because we've been distant. Distant. Like I'm the one who moved away. Like I'm the one who created the cold space in our bed. A surprise trip, I repeat, and the word surprise tastes bitter. My eyes burn. I blink hard until the tears retreat. He smiles, gentle, persuasive. Yeah, he says. Just a reset. We deserve it. I stare at him, trying to hear my own instincts over the sound of his confidence. What about the guest list? I ask. His thumb strokes my shoulder. Slow, possessive. That's not a guest list, he says easily. That's a list for the event, for work. You know I'm planning that conference. The conference, right? The mythical conference that's always coming, always almost happening. Always the reason he needs another dinner, another suit, another late night. He kisses my forehead. I love you, he whispers, and my stomach turns. Not with warmth, with warning. I'll take you away this weekend, he adds like he's dangling a treat. Just you and me. I'll get my mom to watch the baby, okay? We'll breathe, we'll reconnect. No phones. My chest tightens at the word okay, like he's trained me to nod. I nod anyway, because a part of me is still begging for this to be fixable. And then the weekend comes, and he can't. Something urgent, something last minute, something that makes him sigh and look at me like I'm unreasonable for wanting what he promised. We'll do it next weekend, he says. Next weekend becomes the one after that, then the month after that, then never. And my body starts keeping score without asking my permission. It starts with little things. A notification ping, and my heart jumps so hard it hurts. I catch myself checking his location app, then hating myself for it. I start noticing how he turns his phone face down even when he's just getting water. How he smiles at the screen and then smooths his expression before he looks up at me. I open our banking app one night while the baby sleeps on my chest. Her weight is warm and heavy, my arm tingling from holding her too long. The room smells like lavender lotion and stale popcorn. The numbers load. And there it is. A charge that doesn't belong. A boutique hotel. Not near his office, not near any client meeting I've ever heard of. The kind of place with fancy fonts on the receipt and overpriced room service. My breath stops. My throat tightens like it's being pinched. I click into details. Date, time, amount, 2 nights. My stomach drops so fast I get dizzy. I scroll. Another charge, dinner. Expensive. 2 entrees expensive. The kind of dinner you don't eat alone unless you're punishing yourself. Then ride shares, late, midnight. 12:37 a.m., 1:12 a.m. A pattern like footsteps in snow. It's not one mistake, it's a routine. It's a life running parallel to mine, paid for with my name. The next morning, I mention the hotel like I'm asking about the weather. Hey, I say, stirring oatmeal. My spoon clinks against the bowl too loud. Did you stay at the Ardent house last week? He doesn't even pause. No, he says. I look up. There's a charge. His eyes flick, quick. Then he shrugs. Oh, that? Yeah, I put a client there. They needed a nice place. It was easier if I just handled it and expensed it later. My tongue goes numb. Which client? I ask. His jaw tightens. Why are you interrogating me? Interrogating. That word again, like my questions are a crime. I'm not, I whisper. He cuts me off with a laugh. Not a funny laugh, a sharp one. This is what I mean, he says. This is why I can't talk to you lately. You're always on edge, always suspicious. It's exhausting. My face burns, my eyes sting. I want to scream. Then stop giving me reasons. But the baby babbles from the high chair and I swallow my anger like it's medicine. Days turn into weeks. My body stays tired, not the normal tired. The deep sick tired where your bones feel heavy and your thoughts feel sticky. I'm parenting in a fog, smiling on autopilot, folding laundry while my brain replays receipts. Every time my phone buzzes, adrenaline shoots through me. My skin goes cold. I feel it in my teeth. Some nights I lie in bed next to Caleb and stare at the ceiling. He sleeps like a man with no secrets, like his conscience is soft. He rolls over and drapes an arm across me, heavy as a chain. And I lie still because if I move, I'll scream. Then comes the networking event. He invites me like he's doing me a favor. Come, he says. It'll be good for you. Get out of the house. See adults. You'll have fun. I almost say no. My throat tightens at the thought of making small talk while my insides rot. But something in me wants to see. Wants proof that isn't just numbers on a screen. So I go. I wear a simple dress, nothing flashy. My hair pulled back because I don't have the energy for curls. I look like myself. Clean, tired, real. Caleb looks radiant. He kisses my cheek at the door and introduces me to people with that bright voice. This is my wife, he says, like it's a title he's borrowing. I shake hands, smile, nod, laugh at jokes I barely hear. And then I hear it. Sloane's laugh. It cuts through the room like a ribbon snapping. I turn, slow, like my body is bracing for impact. There she is, tall, polished, lipstick perfect, eyes glittering with confidence. She's standing too close to Caleb. Her hand rests on his forearm like it belongs there. He doesn't move away. When she sees me, her smile doesn't falter. That's the first thing I notice. No guilt, no surprise, just appraisal. She walks over like she's approaching staff. Oh my gosh, she says, voice bright and sugary. You must be... She pauses, eyes flicking over my face like she's searching for a name tag. I'm his wife, I say before she can finish. My voice is calm. My stomach is not. Caleb laughs awkwardly. Sloane, he says, like he's reminding us both to behave. This is the team I told you about. The team. She extends a hand. Her nails are flawless. Her perfume hits me like a slap. Sweet, expensive, familiar. My skin prickles. When our palms touch, her grip is firm. Too firm. So nice to finally meet you, she says. And there's something in the finally that makes my throat close. Finally. As if she's been waiting her turn. I hold her gaze. I refuse to look away. Nice to meet you, I manage. Her smile widens. Caleb talks about you all the time. I almost choke. Does he? In what way? As an obstacle? As a joke? As the woman whose money makes him look like a man? She leans slightly toward him, shoulder brushing his arm, intimate as breathing. We were just talking about how hard he works, she adds, and she says it like I should be grateful. Caleb's eyes flick to mine, warning again. A silent command. Don't! My stomach twists, heat crawls up my neck. I look at his suit, at the watch, at the confident posture, all bought with my steady checks and my quiet sacrifices and my late-night budgeting, all worn like costume jewelry. I excuse myself to the bathroom before my face betrays me. The hallway is too bright. The carpet feels thick under my shoes, like I'm walking through sand. Inside the bathroom, I lock myself in a stall and press my forehead to the door. My breath comes out shaky. I taste bile. I pinch the bridge of my nose until stars pop behind my eyelids. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't give them that. When I come back out, I catch a snippet of conversation as I pass by a group. 0. She's really intense about money, someone says. A woman's voice, casual, judging. Another voice, male, amused. Yeah, Caleb's been dealing with that for years. My blood turns to ice. I slow without meaning to. My skin goes tight. She tracks everything. The woman adds, poor guy, he deserves a little freedom. Freedom. Like my boundaries are shackles. I turn my head slightly, just enough to see them without being obvious. Caleb is there, smiling, nodding along, letting them paint me as the villain so he can look like the victim. My lungs feel too small. I feel suddenly aware of my hands, empty, trembling. I curl them into fists. I want to walk up and say, ask him who pays the daycare. Ask him whose name is on the mortgage. Ask him why he needs freedom from the woman holding the roof up. But my feet don't move. Not yet. I go home that night and scrub my hands until they're raw. I can't get Sloane's perfume off my skin. It feels like contamination. A few days later, I'm at a friend's gathering. Something small, harmless. I bring a dish. I smile. I try. I'm standing near the kitchen doorway when I hear it. Caleb's finally choosing happiness, someone says, voice warm like it's good news. My spine goes rigid. The room tilts. Choosing. As if happiness was a woman's name. As if I was the thing keeping him from it. I grip my glass so hard my fingers hurt. I don't know how long I stand there, frozen, listening to people talk about my marriage like it's entertainment. When I get home, there's an envelope on the counter. White. Thick. Official. My name printed neatly. My heart starts pounding so hard it shakes my ribs. Caleb isn't home. Of course he isn't. I open it with fingers that won't quite work. The paper inside is crisp. Cold. I read the words once. Twice. 3 times. Divorce petition. Filed first. And then, like a punch to the throat, temporary support requested. As if he's the one who needs saving. As if I'm the one who owes him. My vision blurs. My stomach lurches. I have to sit down because my knees stop trusting me. The house is quiet except for the faint buzz of the refrigerator and the distant sound of my child humming in her room. I press the papers to my chest like they're a weight I can't set down. And somewhere deep, beneath the shock, beneath the grief, beneath the nausea, something hardens. Not rage, resolve. Because he didn't just betray me. He tried to rewrite me. And I can feel it now, clear as a bell in my bones. If he wants a story where I'm the villain, he's going to find out what a villain with receipts looks like. The tile is cold through my leggings, not just cold, mean. Like it's trying to remind me I'm made of skin and bone and nothing else. I'm sitting on the kitchen floor because my legs stopped cooperating halfway between the counter and the hallway. 1 second I was standing there with that envelope, and the next my back slid down the cabinet like I'd been unplugged. The divorce papers are shaking in my hands. Not a cute tremble. Not nerves. A full-body tremor that starts in my wrists and runs straight up my arms into my throat, like my body is trying to vibrate the truth out of me. The fridge hums, low, constant. It sounds like a countdown. I press my tongue to the roof of my mouth because I can't trust my lips. If I open them, something ugly might come out. A sound I won't recognize. A sound that will scare my child awake. I stare at the words again. Temporary support. His name. My name. Our child's name typed like a detail, like a bargaining chip, like a prop. My chest keeps pulling tight and loosening. Tight and loosening. Breathing that doesn't feel like breathing. My heartbeat is loud enough to drown out the clock on the microwave. Anger tries to rise first. Hot, fast, bright. It rushes up my spine like a flare. It makes my hands itch. It makes my jaw ache from clenching. For a second, I can taste it. Metallic and sharp, like I bit the inside of my cheek. And then grief follows right behind, heavier, slower. And it hits my ribs like a wave. Because I didn't just lose a husband. I lost the version of my life where my effort meant something, where my love wasn't ammunition someone could steal and reload. I don't want revenge. Not really. I want reality to stop being rewritten while I'm still living in it. I want to stop feeling like I'm standing in a room full of people watching someone else tell my story. My eyes sting. I don't wipe them. I'm angry at the tears. Angry that my body still does this, still reacts like he deserves anything from me. Upstairs, the baby monitor crackles. A tiny sigh, a tiny shuffle. I hold my breath until the sound fades, until the house settles again. Then I move. I don't stand. I crawl to the pantry like some kind of animal. My knees scrape lightly on the tile. I grab the bottom shelf to pull myself up. But halfway there, my strength gives out and I sit again, back against the cabinet, papers in my lap. I'm so tired. Not sleep tired, soul tired. The next day, I call a lawyer with fingers that feel like they belong to someone else. My voice on the phone sounds polite, controlled, like I'm scheduling a dentist appointment, not dismantling my marriage. I go in 2 days later with a folder of printouts and screenshots. Charges, dates, notes in the margins that look obsessive when I see them all together, like I'm the villain Caleb has been describing. The attorney's office smells like coffee and printer ink. The chair under me is too firm. My palms sweat. I wipe them on my skirt and pretend I'm not terrified. The attorney is calm. That calm is a life raft. She reads. She nods. She asks questions I haven't even known to ask. Her pen moves steady, like this is all solvable. Authorized user, account owner, liability. Words that should feel dry and boring, but instead make my lungs fill for the first time in weeks. I learn what is mine. I learn what isn't. I learn that there are rules, real rules, not Caleb's made-up how relationships work rules, that protect me. I learn I can draw a line without being cruel. I can protect myself without breaking anything the court will punish me for. I walk out of that office with the papers held tight in my hands, and the air outside feels sharper, colder, cleaner. Like I've been underwater and just found the surface. Caleb performs, of course. He performs like it's his job, like he's always been rehearsing for this. He posts online about hard seasons and choosing peace. He shares quotes about letting go of what no longer serves you. And I can feel the narrative being built brick by brick. Poor Caleb, trapped with the controlling wife, finally free. People react with heart emojis and proud of you comments. My fingers hover over my screen the first time I see it, trembling with the urge to scream the truth into the comments. Instead, I set the phone face down. The anger sits in my stomach, dense and heavy, but it doesn't explode. It cooks. He starts pushing boundaries right away. A text comes in late one afternoon while I'm wiping yogurt off the high chair. My child's hair smells like sunscreen and crackers. My shirt is damp at the shoulder from where she wiped her hands on me like I'm a towel. Caleb's name flashes on my screen. My pulse jumps. Instinct. I wipe my hands, pick it up. Hey, can you not mess with the credit cards right now? I need everything to stay normal. For the baby. For the baby. Always for the baby when he wants something. My throat tightens, my fingers go cold. I stare at the message until the words blur. A minute later, another message. Just one last favor. I'm trying to keep my credit intact. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. One last favor. Like favors haven't been my whole life. Like my steady income hasn't been his safety net, his cushion, his trampoline. I type, then delete. Type, then delete. My hands shake so badly the phone clicks against my fingernail. I finally respond with something short, something legal sounding, because my lawyer's calm voice is still in my head. We'll communicate through attorneys. My heart pounds after I send it, like I just slapped him in public. He calls immediately. I don't answer. The phone keeps buzzing on the counter while I rinse dishes. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Each vibration feels like a fist against my ribs. When it stops, I expect relief. Instead, the silence feels like a trap. He shows up the next day at pickup like nothing happened, like we're co-parents in a brochure. He smiles at the daycare workers, he compliments someone's hair. He asks about the weather. Then he leans close enough that I can smell his cologne. Familiar, nauseating. Don't do this, he murmurs low, like a threat dressed as a plea. You don't want to make me the bad guy. My skin prickles. The back of my neck goes hot. I want to laugh. I want to cry. I want to shove him away. Instead, I pick up my child and adjust her little jacket, focusing on the zipper because the zipper is simple and he is not. Please, he adds softer. I'm just trying to land on my feet. My grip tightens on my child. My arms ache. He's always landing on my feet. A few nights later, I get a message from someone I barely talk to anymore. An old mutual friend who still follows Caleb's social circle, still thinks marriage drama is like a show. Hey, this is awkward, she writes. But I thought you should know. Caleb's wedding is set. It's soon. Wedding. My stomach flips, a sharp, sudden drop like I missed a step on stairs. I read the message again, slow. Wedding. Soon. My fingers go numb. The friend keeps typing. Venue is Fernwood Gardens. Date is next month. It's kind of fast. Fernwood. I know Fernwood. Everyone knows Fernwood. It's the place people save for. The place with the fairy lights and the stone walkway and the price tag that makes you swallow twice. My lungs feel squeezed. A sound tries to leave my throat. It comes out as a laugh that isn't laughter. Short, broken. I sit on the edge of my bed with the phone in my hand and stare at the wall until the paint seems too bright, too flat, too normal for what I just learned. He's planning a wedding. Already. While we're still married on paper. While he's asking me for support like I'm the one abandoning him. My hands start shaking again, and this time, I let them. I let the tremor run through me. I let my body feel what my mind keeps trying to pack away neatly. I don't sleep much after that. Not really. I doze in slices. I wake up with my jaw aching and my pillow damp at the corner from where tears leaked out without permission. In the dark, my mind plays back every moment I ignored. Every work trip, every late-night dinner, every "you're paranoid." It replays like a film I can't turn off, and each time, something sharp twists inside me. One morning, fueled by exhaustion and something colder than anger, I open an old email account Caleb and I used to share for household stuff. I haven't logged in for months, maybe longer. The password still works. Of course it does. Caleb never changes anything unless it benefits him. My inbox loads. The screen fills with junk and old confirmations, daycare reminders, utility updates, grocery receipts. My eyes move faster, scanning, hunting. My heart thuds. Then I see it. A forwarded email thread. Subject line. Final details. Fernwood Gardens. My breath catches so hard it hurts. I click. Words spill onto the screen. Polite, professional, neat. The venue coordinator thanking Caleb for his prompt communication. Confirming the date, confirming the package. Then Caleb's reply. Smiling through text. No worries, payment will clear next week. I've got it covered. My eyes drop to the attachment. A payment authorization form, my card, my number, partially masked. But I know it the way I know my own phone number. The last 4 digits are a punch to the throat. The billing name. Me. I go cold so fast it's like someone poured ice water down my back. My fingers tingle. My ears ring. For a second, the room seems to shrink around me, walls pushing in, air thinning. He wasn't just lying to me. He was spending me. Planning a whole new life on my credit like I was an endless resource, like I was a bank that smiled and stayed quiet. My mouth opens. No sound comes out. I stare at the screen until my vision blurs. Then, slowly, I close my eyes and inhale through my nose. The air tastes like dust and morning. I exhale, and something in me clicks into place, clean and final like a lock turning. No more reacting. No more begging for truth. No more letting him write my name on his bill and call it love. I open my eyes again. My hands stop shaking. Not because I'm calm, because I'm decided. I don't sleep. Not really. I do that thing where my body goes still, and my mind keeps walking circles around the same wound, poking it to see if it's still real. It is. Every time. In the morning, I rinse my face with cold water until my cheeks sting. I stare at myself in the mirror, and I don't recognize the woman staring back. Not because she looks different, but because her eyes are sharper. Like the soft parts got sanded down overnight. I press my palm to the sink. Feel the porcelain under my skin. Solid. Unmoving. That's what I need to be. Solid, unmoving. I don't want chaos. I don't want some messy screaming showdown that gets clipped into someone else's story about me. I want clean. Legal. Safe. I want my child protected. I want my name off his fantasy. So I start building a plan the way I've always built our life. Quiet, organized, like I'm packing an emergency bag no one knows exists. First, I gather everything. Screenshots of charges, dates, times, locations. I zoom in on each line item until my eyes blur, until the numbers feel branded into my skull. I export statements into a folder with a boring name. I make copies. I label them like evidence because that's what they are. My hands move fast while my chest stays tight. My fingertips are cold. I can't tell if it's fear or focus. Second, I separate what's mine. I open a new account in my name only. My income reroutes there. I update direct deposit with HR on my lunch break, my voice casual, like I'm changing my address. My stomach twists the whole time. I feel like I'm doing something wrong even though I'm finally doing something right. I update autopay for the essentials: daycare, utilities, insurance, anything tied to my child's stability. I let everything else dangle, not out of spite, but because I refuse to keep stitching up holes he keeps cutting. I change passwords, email, banking, subscription accounts he needed for work. I set everything to two-factor authentication. My phone becomes a key. I keep it close like it's oxygen. Every time a verification code pops up, I feel a sick thrill. Proof that the system recognizes me as the owner. Not him. Me. I set alerts so my phone will scream if anyone breathes near my accounts. Every charge, every attempt, every weird login. I want my nervous system to get a break from guessing. Then I freeze new authorizations where I can. Not the whole account, just the ability to tack on new cards and new lines without me. My lawyer's voice echoes in my head. Do nothing that violates temporary orders. Protect, don't retaliate. I cling to those words like a railing. Protect, don't retaliate. But God, it's hard not to feel like protection is revenge when you've been used for so long. At night, after my child is asleep and the house goes quiet in that heavy way, I stand in front of the bathroom mirror and practice my face. Neutral, calm, boring. I lift my eyebrows, relax them, smooth my mouth. I watch myself say things in a voice that doesn't shake. I'm not comfortable with that. We can discuss this through attorneys. No. Just no. The word is small, simple, but it scrapes my throat the first few times, like my body still expects punishment for setting a boundary. I practice anyway. I refuse to look hysterical. I refuse to give him that. Because I can already hear it. Caleb telling people with that wounded voice he saves for audiences that I'm unhinged, bitter, trying to ruin his life. No, I'm trying to save mine. The curveball comes on a Thursday. It's late afternoon. The sky is the color of wet concrete. I'm buckling my child into her car seat in the daycare parking lot, fingers clumsy from the cold, when I hear his voice behind me. Hey, Caleb. My whole back stiffens like someone pressed a knife there. I turn slowly. He's leaning against his car like he belongs here, like he didn't drop a bomb into my kitchen and walk away. His hair is styled, his smile is practiced. He looks fine. That makes something inside me flare. How did you know I'd be here? I ask, and my voice is sharper than I mean. He shrugs like it's nothing. It's my kid too. My kid. He says it like ownership, like entitlement. My child squeals at the sound of his voice and reaches toward him. That hurts more than anything. A small hand stretching toward a man who's been stretching toward my wallet. Caleb's expression softens when he looks at her, and for a second I see the man I married. For a second my chest aches. Then he looks back at me, and the softness drains away like water down a sink. Listen, he says, stepping closer. He lowers his voice. I need the card for child expenses. I blink. The world narrows. None. The card. I repeat. Yeah, he says quickly. Stuff comes up. You know that. Clothes, diapers, appointments. I'm not asking for much. Just don't mess with it until everything is finalized. My hands grip the car seat strap so hard my knuckles whiten. Why can't you use your own account? I ask. My heart pounds. I feel it in my throat. He scoffs. Because you're making this difficult. I stare at him. The air feels too thin. I'm not, I say. I'm protecting our child's stability. His jaw flexes. A muscle jumps there, angry. Okay, he says, tone shifting. Fine. Then at least keep the limit where it is. I'm trying to finalize numbers. My stomach drops. Numbers. I repeat, and my voice goes quiet without me choosing it. He pauses, just a fraction of a second. He realizes what he said, and then he tries to smooth it over with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Just life stuff, he says. You know, moving, deposits. It adds up. Deposits, finalizing numbers. My lungs feel like they're full of smoke. I nod once, slow, like I'm accepting his explanation. But inside, something sharp clicks. Because he can't help himself. Even when he's lying, the truth leaks out of him in little phrases, like oil on water. Send me your request in writing, I say. His eyes narrow. What? In writing, I repeat. Text it, email it, whatever. Just write what you need and why. He laughs. Why? You don't believe me. I keep my face flat. I can feel the mirror practice in my muscles, holding me steady. I want everything documented, I say. For clarity. For court. For reality. He stares at me for a beat, and I can see the calculation in his eyes. The part of him that's always angling, always trying to find the easiest path. Fine, he snaps. I'll text you. He walks away like I've insulted him. I get into the driver's seat with hands that are shaking so hard I can barely get the key in. My child hums to herself behind me, blissfully unaware. I sit there for a second with my forehead against the steering wheel. My breath comes out in short bursts. Then my phone buzzes. I look. A text from Caleb. Need you to keep the card active and limit same until wedding payments clear. It's for stability. My blood goes cold. Wedding? He said it. In writing. My lips part. A sound tries to come out. It doesn't. My fingers hover over the screen. For a second, I want to type a response that burns, something sharp enough to leave scars. Instead, I screenshot it. Twice. I forward it to my attorney. My hands are steady now, like the adrenaline has turned into ice. I don't respond to Caleb. Not yet. The wedding invite arrives 3 days later. It comes in the mail, thick and glossy, like a dare. I recognize the handwriting immediately. Caleb's mother. Neat cursive, too formal. My stomach twists as I tear it open. Inside, an invitation with gold foil lettering, a date, a venue, Fernwood Gardens, and beneath, in smaller script, we would be honored by your presence. My presence. As if I'm a guest in the wreckage of my own life. My fingers crumple the edge of the card without meaning to. The paper is stiff, expensive. It doesn't tear easily. I stare at it until my eyes sting. My child toddles into the kitchen with a stuffed animal, cheeks flushed, hair sticking up. She looks at me, then at the card, curious. I swallow hard and smooth my face. Nothing, baby, I whisper, and I set the invite out of her reach like it's poison. That night, Caleb posts a photo online. Not of Sloane, not directly. Just 2 hands holding champagne glasses, clinking. A caption, new chapter. The comments pour in. So happy for you. You deserve this. Finally. My throat closes. I set my phone down with care, like it might explode. Then I go to the bathroom and stare at myself again. My eyes look haunted. I lean closer to the mirror until I can see every pore, every tiny freckle. You're not crazy, I tell my reflection, voice shaking on the first word. You're not crazy. I say it again. Slower. You're not crazy. The divorce signing day comes fast. Too fast. I walk into the office with my folder clutched to my chest like armor. My hands are cold. My mouth is dry. My body feels like it's buzzing with static. Caleb is already there, sitting like he owns the place. He wears that same polished expression he wears at events. The I'm the reasonable one face. He stands when I walk in. He smiles. Hey, he says softly, like we're old friends. I don't smile back. We sit. Papers slide across the table, pens click, names get signed. My hand cramps halfway through. I keep going. My signature looks like mine, but sharper, like it grew teeth. Caleb signs with a flourish. He glances up at me like he expects something. Tears, maybe. A breakdown. A plea. I give him nothing. When it's over, he leans back and exhales like he just finished a workout. His shoulders loosen. He smiles again, small and satisfied. Like he thinks he's won. I stand. My legs feel strange, like I'm walking on a boat. I gather my folder, my copies, my calm. Caleb's voice follows me as I head toward the door. We can be adults about this, he says, still performing. No need to be petty. Petty. The word makes my vision flash white for a second. I don't turn around. Outside, the air hits my face like a slap. Cold, clean, real. My lungs fill and it hurts, like I forgot what oxygen felt like. I walk to my car on legs that feel too light. I sit in the driver's seat. I close the door. The sound is final. For a moment, I just sit there with my hands on the steering wheel, staring straight ahead. Then I exhale. Long. Slow. Like I'm letting go of something that's been wrapped around my throat for years. I pick up my phone. My thumb moves without shaking. I pull up the contact I saved weeks ago. Card services. I press call. And as it rings, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time settle into my chest. Not rage, relief. Like the ground under me is finally mine again. The line clicks, then breathes. An operator's calm voice asking for verification, for permission, for the kind of certainty I used to hand out like napkins. My mouth is dry. My tongue sticks for a second before the words come. Yes, I say. That name. Those cards. Remove him. My heart doesn't race the way I expect it to. It thumps slow, heavy. Like a door closing. There's a soft pause. Keyboard taps on the other end. A polite script. Authorized user access will be removed. The phrase lands clean. Clinical. Like a bandage being peeled off in one smooth pull. Do you want replacement cards issued? The voice asks. I swallow. My throat aches. Yes, I whisper. Send them to my address only. Another pause. Another flurry of quiet typing. Done. Done. The word makes my eyes sting. Not because I'm sad, because I'm finally not begging. I hang up and just sit there, fingers still curled around the phone, feeling the leftover heat from the call. My palm is damp. My shoulder muscles are tight, locked up near my ears like I've been bracing for impact for years. I let them drop. My body doesn't know what to do with the absence of fear. It feels like stepping off a moving walkway and realizing the ground is still. I take screenshots of the confirmation emails as they arrive. Time-stamped, neat, proof. Then I open the court portal and upload what my attorney told me to upload. The boring stuff, the responsible stuff, the stuff that keeps my child safe and keeps my name clean. My hands move like I'm folding laundry. Automatic, efficient, detached. But inside, something is humming. Not anger, power. A week later, the wedding day comes anyway. Of course it does. Life doesn't stop for truth. It just trips over it. The invitation sits in my kitchen trash under coffee grounds and a torn cereal box. But I know the time. I know the place. Fernwood Gardens, golden hour, candlelight. The whole thing designed to look like love, even when it's built on theft. I tell myself I won't go. I mean it for a full day. Then the night before, I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth, foam gathering at the corners of my mouth, and I catch my own eyes in the mirror. The woman staring back isn't shaking anymore. She looks steady. I rinse, I spit, I wipe my mouth, and I know. I'm going. Not to ruin anything, to witness reality catching up. The afternoon of the wedding, I dress in something simple. Dark, but not dramatic. Clean lines, nothing that screams revenge, nothing that begs for attention. My hair is pinned back, my makeup is light. My face is just mine. I leave my child with my sister, someone I trust more than my own instincts right now. My sister doesn't ask many questions. She just looks at me for a long beat, then nods like she understands something sacred. Call me if you need me, she says. I will, I promise, and my voice doesn't crack. When I arrive at Fernwood, the light is honeyed and soft. It makes everything look gentler than it is. The air smells like roses and cut greenery, sweet and expensive. Strings of lights hang above the aisle like stars someone bought. I park far back. My hands are cold on the steering wheel, even though the air is warm. I sit for a moment, listening to my own breathing. In, out. My heartbeat is steady, but my stomach churns like it's full of stones. I step out. The gravel crunches under my shoes, each step loud in my head. I can hear laughter drifting from the garden, glasses clinking, a distant swell of music as the string quartet warms up. All pretty notes covering up ugly truths. I walk toward the ceremony area and slip into the back row like a shadow. No one looks at me at first. They're too busy watching the fantasy. Caleb stands at the front, posture tall, smile bright. He looks confident, like a man who believes the world will always catch him. Sloane is nearby, checking her dress, adjusting a bracelet, laughing with her friends. She's glowing. Not with love, with victory. My throat tightens. I grip my phone in my palm until my knuckles pale. The screen is dark. Quiet. For a second, a stupid old reflex flares, this urge to fix, to smooth, to make sure everything goes well, to be useful. I hate that reflex. I hate how deep it runs. Then my phone buzzes, once, twice. I look down. Payment declined, again. The words look unreal against the soft background of wedding decor, like a swear word in a children's book. I inhale slowly. My lungs fill. It hurts a little, like stretching a muscle that hasn't moved in a long time. Up front, a wedding planner in black steps closer to Caleb. She leans in, her face tight with professionalism. Caleb's smile twitches. He nods like he understands. Then his jaw clenches. Even from here, I can see it. The tiny crack in his confidence, like glass beginning to splinter. The music starts. The string quartet plays something airy and romantic, and it's almost funny how hard the universe is working to keep the mood alive, while the truth slides a knife under the tablecloth. Guests turn their heads as the processional begins. Everyone rises. Chairs scrape softly. Fabric rustles. The air is thick with perfume and expectation. Sloane steps into view at the start of the aisle, radiant in white, bouquet cradled like a trophy. Her smile is wide. Then she sees Caleb's face, not the face he rehearsed, the real one. Her smile falters just a little. She keeps walking anyway. Halfway down the aisle, another staff member approaches the planner. The planner's shoulders tighten. She whispers again into Caleb's ear. Caleb's eyes widen. He shakes his head, quick, sharp. His hands lift slightly like he's trying to push the words away. From the back row, I can't hear what's being said, but I can read him the way I used to read him when he came home late. When he'd be too loud, too cheerful, too full of stories. He's panicking. Not loud yet, but inside. Sloane reaches the front. The officiant smiles, ready to begin. Caleb doesn't look at her. He looks past her. He looks at the crowd like he's searching for an exit. And then his eyes find me. The moment it happens, time stretches thin. It pulls tight like a rubber band about to snap. His face changes when he sees me. Shock first, then calculation, then something ugly and pleading. My stomach flips. He knows. He knows it's me, even though all I did was reclaim what was mine. He licks his lips, swallows hard. His throat moves. He leans toward the planner again, whispering sharply. The planner's expression doesn't soften. She looks like someone who has heard every excuse a man can invent and has stopped believing all of them. A beep slices through the music. Not loud, but distinct. The kind of sound that doesn't belong in a wedding. A card reader. Another beep. A pause. The staff member's posture stiffens. The planner's voice rises just enough for the people in the first rows to turn. Sloane's smile is gone now. Her brows knit. Her eyes dart between Caleb and the planner, irritation flashing first. How dare anyone interrupt her moment? Then suspicion. Then, slowly, something that looks like fear. Caleb turns his body slightly, blocking Sloane from seeing the planner's tablet or phone. He leans in close to Sloane and says something. Sloane's face tightens. She shakes her head, small, like she's refusing to understand. Caleb's gaze flicks toward me again. This time, he moves. He hands something to the officiant, murmurs an apology, probably, and steps away from the front, threading through guests with a smile that keeps slipping off his face. He reaches the back row, reaches me. Up close, he smells like cologne and sweat and nerves. His eyes are bright in a way that isn't joy. His hands tremble slightly at his sides, betrayed by the suit sleeves. "Please," he whispers, and the word hits my ears like a cold splash. "Just for today." My throat tightens. Old reflex, old training. Fix it. Save him. Save the moment. Save the story. I feel it in my body, the instinct to smooth his collar, to hand him a solution, to swallow my pain so his life can stay pretty. It rises like a tide. And then I let it die. I look at him. Really look. A grown man in a custom suit, begging his ex-wife to finance his new wife. My stomach turns, but my hands stay still. "I can't," I say softly. His eyes widen. "Come on, don't do this here. Everyone's watching." Everyone's watching. Of course that matters to him. My pulse stays steady. I can hear the quartet still playing, trying to keep the dream afloat. The music feels like a lie draped over a sinking ship. I tilt my head just slightly. "You're divorced from me now," I say, calm as a closed door. "And so is your access." His face goes white. He swallows hard. His Adam's apple bobs like he's choking on pride. You're being," he starts. A voice cuts in from the aisle, an older woman, a relative, someone with a loud curiosity. "Caleb, what's going on?" Heads turn, whispers ripple, the sound of 100 tiny questions. Caleb's smile jerks onto his face like a mask forced on too fast. "Nothing," he says, too bright. "Just a small mix-up." The planner steps forward, professional to the bone. "I'm sorry," she says clearly, and the words slice through the air. "The payment method declined." Silence, not total. There's still music, still wind in the trees, still someone coughing in the second row. But the kind of silence that matters settles like dust. Sloane's head snaps toward Caleb. "What do you mean declined?" she asks, and her voice is sharp now, not bridal. Caleb laughs, strained. "It's fine, it's just—" Sloane steps closer, bouquet trembling slightly in her grip. "Whose card was it?" she hisses. Caleb's eyes flick to me for half a second. "It's enough." Sloane follows his gaze. She sees me. Her face changes in stages, confusion, then recognition like a puzzle piece locking in, then a slow horror. "No," she says, and it's barely a sound. I don't move. I don't smile. I don't gloat. I just stand there, breathing, feeling the ground solid under my feet. Sloane's voice rises. "You told me you had everything handled." Caleb's jaw clenches. "I do." "Clearly you don't," she snaps, and it's venom now, spilling out in front of everyone. "You told me you were the one paying. You told me." He grabs her arm lightly, trying to control the scene. She jerks away like he burned her. I watch her eyes flick over him, his suit, his watch, his confident posture, and I can almost see her recalculating every story he sold her. Every "I provide." Every "I take care of things." Every lie dressed up as masculinity. Borrowed, all of it. A man wearing another woman's stability like perfume. Someone in the crowd whispers my name. Someone else mutters, "Is that?" Caleb's mother steps forward, face pinched tight with confusion and fury. "Why is she here?" she demands, pointing at me like I'm a stain. Caleb's shoulders stiffen. "Mom, not now." Sloane laughs once, sharp, humorless. "Why is she here?" she echoes. "Maybe because you built this on her." That line hits the crowd like a dropped plate. Gasps, murmurs. A few people look away, embarrassed to witness the truth. Others lean in, hungry for it. Caleb turns toward me, eyes flashing. "This is what you wanted," he says low, angry now. "To embarrass me." I blink slowly. "No," I say. "I wanted you to stop spending my life." His mouth opens, closes. He has nothing, because the proof exists, because the texts exist, because the charges exist, because the lie is no longer floating, it's pinned. The planner clears her throat again. "We need an approved payment method to proceed with the remaining services. she says, voice neutral, like she's discussing weather. Otherwise, otherwise the dream ends. Sloane's gaze swings back to Caleb. Her eyes are wet now, but not with love. With rage. With betrayal. You proposed, she says, voice shaking. And you didn't even have the money? Caleb's face twists. I did. You were what? She spits. Counting on her? She gestures toward me with the bouquet, the flowers shaking like her hands can't hold still. The bouquet looks ridiculous in that moment, like a prop from a play that got canceled mid-scene. Caleb's mother starts crying. Someone tries to hush her. The officiant steps back, awkward, hands folded like prayer. The quartet keeps playing for a few more seconds, then falters, unsure. The music slows, then stops entirely, like even the instruments can't pretend anymore. And in that sudden quiet, I feel something inside me unclench. Not satisfaction, release. I don't wait for the shouting to peak. I don't stand there to watch them tear each other apart. My justice isn't watching him burn. It's choosing peace. I turn. I walk down the gravel path away from the fairy lights and the roses and the tiny lies clinking in glasses. Behind me, voices rise, sharp, frantic, chaotic. But they fade with each step. The air gets cooler as I move toward the parking lot. The sun dips lower. The light changes from gold to something softer, more honest. I reach my car and slide inside. The seat is warm from the day. My hands rest on the steering wheel. For a moment, I just breathe. In, out. My phone buzzes once, then again. Caleb. I don't look. I start the engine. As I pull away, the garden disappears in my rearview mirror, shrinking into a blur of white fabric and pretty lights and a truth that finally demanded payment. And for the first time in a long time, my shoulders drop. My jaw relaxes. My body understands what my mind has been trying to learn. I am not his safety net anymore. My hands don't shake when I unlock my front door. That's how I know it's over. Not the paperwork, not the gossip, not the aftershocks that will keep rolling in like distant thunder. I mean the part where I keep flinching like I'm waiting to be blamed for someone else's choices. I didn't ruin anything. He did. Slowly. Deliberately. With every lie he tucked into my kitchen like it belonged there. With every you're imagining things that made me doubt the very signals my body was screaming. He built a fantasy out of my silence and called it love, because that sounded nicer than theft. And then my silence ended. That's it. That's the whole crime. I learned the hard way that being easygoing can become a leash if you're not careful. I learned that boundaries aren't cruelty. They're oxygen. They're the line between a life you live and a life someone else spends. So if you're in it right now, if your stomach drops every time your phone buzzes, if your brain is doing math at midnight, if someone keeps calling you controlling when you're just trying to protect what you built, hear me. Document calmly. Save the receipts. Ask for things in writing. Lock your accounts. Keep your voice steady even when your insides are shaking. Don't let anyone shame you for holding your own life with both hands. Later, after the noise, I used the money I stopped leaking to build something real. Childcare paid on time. A home that feels quiet in a good way. Groceries without dread. Laughter that shows up again like a stray cat finally trusting your porch. Some nights I still remember the candles, the music, the beep of that card reader slicing through the lie. And I smile. Not because I enjoy humiliation, but because I recognize myself in that moment. He wanted a wedding. I wanted the truth. Turns out, only one of those can be paid for with honesty. If this hit you somewhere tender, like the video, subscribe, and tell me your boundary win moment in the comments. And if you know someone rebuilding after betrayal, share this with them. They deserve to feel steady again.